You don't need 45 minutes and a million products to go from this to this. This is my real life 10 to 15 minute face. It's simple, natural, actually doable, and made possible with some of my favorite products from Jane Iredale. I'm so excited to teach you how to do it on yourself. Let's go. For my skin prep, I'm starting with my favorite vitamin C serum first, letting that sink and soak in, and then I'm layering the Smooth Affair Brightening Face Primer on top of it. Since my skin does lean oily, I actually use this primer as a moisturizer and primer in one. It gives me just the right amount of hydration without feeling heavy. If you have dry skin, you might prefer a full layering routine with serum, then moisturizer, then primer to keep everything nice and hydrated under your makeup. So do the routine that works best for you when it comes to skin prep, because skin prep sets the whole makeup look up for success or failure. I've mentioned this in several videos in the past, but it's actually worth a mention again. Jane Iredale has incredible primer formulas. And there's actually 3 to choose from, which is really helpful. So the brightening one, which I'm using today, gives a soft kind of dewy finish. It does a great job of blurring pores, which is why I reach for it often. I have some larger pores on my nose that I like to soften out. I find that one does a good job of doing that. If you like a more radiant or a pearlescent style glow, the illuminating primer is beautiful. It's this ultra hydrating, beautiful base. It's ideal for dry or dull skin. I always grab it when I'm working with my very dry or more mature skinned clients. Now, if you're oily or acne prone, so you're on the other side of the spectrum or just want to keep shine like really under control, the mattifying primer is amazing for that too. So choose the primer that's best for you. Now that my skin is prepped, I'm going in with the brand new Skin Tuition Radiance Boosting Liquid Foundation. This is actually Jane Iredale's biggest foundation launch in the history of their brand, and for good reason. Look at how absolutely beautiful the texture of this product is. This is a medium buildable formula with a built-in physical SPF of 30, which is amazing. This brand is known in the industry for having products that are extremely good for the health of the skin, extremely high quality. And this foundation is really no different. It's a true foundation, skincare, and SPF hybrid product with the most beautiful, naturally radiant finish. It makes your skin look healthy and perfected without feeling heavy or too made up at all. Since the look today is all about simplicity and being fast, I'm just using my fingers to apply it. It melts right into the skin, blends out so easily. You really don't even need a brush to make it look good at all. It's a fantastic foundation. If you're in the market for a new foundation for the summer, I highly recommend checking this one out. This is gorgeous. Before we move into concealer, I have a quick side note. I was looking at my analytics the other day and I noticed that the majority of people who watch my videos regularly aren't actually subscribed. So if you've been enjoying these tutorials or you're getting value from them, I'd really love it if you hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow, and then that lets me keep creating content just like this for you. I really do appreciate having you here so much. So thank you to those who have subscribed already. Now back to the video. Next, I'm going in with the Enlighten Concealer. Now this is formulated specifically for very dark under eye circles and hyperpigmentation. My under eyes are my biggest struggle ever because they're not only dark, but I actually have a lot of fine lines. My skin is very thin under my eyes. So color correctors that are dense can sometimes make my lines appear a lot more prominent, a lot more wrinkly, but not using color corrector doesn't work either because the concealer isn't strong enough to cover the amount of blue or discoloration that I have under my eyes. So what I love about this product is that it's very peachy. So it counteracts the blue beautifully, but it's also creamy and actually a bit dewy, so it doesn't dry out or cake up in my lines. Like I said, I start with this product first to neutralize that blue tone. I apply it just where there's darkness, nowhere else, okay? You can see it's a very strategic placement. Then I mist my beauty blender with a setting spray. The one that I've been using recently is the new Huda Beauty Easy Bake, and I like it for under the eyes because it's alcohol-free, but it's really very good for setting makeup. I gently press it in to set that first layer, And then I go in with this product. So this is the Pure Match Liquid Concealer, and I use this one to add that light and that lift. I like to apply this concealer specifically where my under eye meets kind of the fleshy part of my cheek to balance out that divot. And then I like to apply it in the corners of the eyes to lift. I let it sit for a few minutes, blend it out, and then I go back in again with my damp beauty blender that's been sprayed with the setting spray, and I press it in again. So I press it in the layers: color corrector, set, concealer, set. Setting the concealer this way as opposed to using a powder gives a really kind of soft, natural coverage that smooths and brightens without looking dry or heavy. It's the perfect technique for softening darkness while still keeping that natural, very lightweight feeling that we're going for today. The goal in this look isn't perfection, it's just enhancement. And doing it this way will brighten and soften without any type of heaviness. As a final step, I like to put some concealer on my eyelid, moving all the way up to my brow bone just to balance out the pigmentation issues there. Because I have very oily eyelids, I always set this step with a very finely milled translucent powder. The one that I use is by Laura Mercier. I just put it on kind of a damp beauty blender and I push that powder in just to set it so that I don't get too much creasing throughout the day. If I don't set my eyelids, the concealer on my lids will crease immediately. So if you have the same issue, just dampen your beauty blender and press a little powder in there and it will stop that from happening. For brows, I like to keep it super simple on these natural makeup days. I skip the detailed shaping and the heavy filling because it can just take way too long. And honestly, it can look a little harsh when the rest of the makeup is so soft and minimal. Instead, I just sweep on a tinted brow gel. This gives the hair some organization, adds a little density, makes them look more polished, but with next to no effort. If I notice that there are any gaps and I have a little extra time only, I'll then go in with a fine tip brow pen and lightly sketch in the sparse areas, but only where it's really needed, only where there's holes, okay? Just like with under the eyes, the goal of this makeup is softness and enhancement, not necessarily perfection. You don't need them to be perfectly symmetrical. You just need them to be groomed. Now I'm going in with bronzer to add some warmth and some subtle definition. I'm starting with my forehead just along the hairline to give that sun-kissed effect. It makes everything look a little more alive, a little more dimensional. Then I sweep that bronzer along the cheekbones right under where I'll be placing the blush, and of course on the sides of the nose to slim the bridge out. This step helps sculpt the face out a little bit. It gives it some depth while still keeping things really soft and natural. And here's one of my favorite tricks, okay? I always use a bit of bronzer in the crease of my eyes and along the lower lash line to hide the fine lines that I have there. Whenever I'm doing a 10 or a 15-minute look, I just cannot be bothered with blending eyeshadows. I don't even want to reach for them. It's just way too much. This is such an easy way to bring depth and to bring focus to the eyes without the extra steps. It ties the whole face together in the easiest possible way. Now it is time for blush. And for a look like this, I always reach for a cream formula with a pop of color. This is one of my favorite cream blushes ever. It's called the Glow Time Blush Stick, and it is a seriously gorgeous formula and extremely versatile. You'll see that in a second. My favorite color by far is Balmy. It looks incredible on literally everyone. All skin tones that I've tried this on has pulled it off. It really is such a beautiful color. I like to put this on my brush and then tap it on the apples of the cheek, blending it upwards. It gives a soft flush that lifts the face without feeling too done. Rosemary Swift also just taught me to place the blush where that fleshy part of the cheek meets the eye hollow. So I've been doing that too and really loving how that's looking. It really blends out the cheek from the eye hollow so that it doesn't look too separated. Then I'll take a bit of that same blush and sweep it onto my eyelids, blending it right into that bronzy crease, kind of like a cream shadow, okay? We're using it like a cream shadow. Sometimes I'll then even dab a touch onto my lips, like a lip balm. Using the same shade on your cheeks, your eyes, and your lips creates this beautiful, effortless harmony across the face. It's that monochromatic magic with almost zero extra effort. To finish off the look, I like to use a lip liner that matches my natural lip tone and softly define the shape, especially around the Cupid's bow in the center of the bottom lip. I'm not overlining or doing anything really dramatic here. I'm just enhancing the natural shape and adding a little structure. And then I top it off with my favorite gloss for that juicy, fresh girl next door look. It's such a simple combination, but it really ties the whole look together and makes the face feel complete and balanced. The last step is mascara. I always start by warming up my eyelash curler with a blow dryer for a few seconds, and then I gently press it onto my lashes to give them a nice lift. After curling, I apply several coats of mascara to build up the length and the volume. Don't be afraid to layer that product on, okay? Especially with a soft makeup look like this. Bold lashes really are the thing in these looks that help your eyes stand out, that doesn't make your face look too bland. Some days I'll just do the top lashes. Other days I'll do both the top and the bottom lashes. It really depends on the vibe I'm going for, and honestly also depends on how much time I have that day. You can see the difference here between just the top lashes versus the top and bottom with mascara. I find that the top will open your eyes up more, but doing the top and bottom defines the eyes better. And finally, if you have an extra second, I'll tightline my upper waterline with black. It's an easy way to make your lashes look a lot thicker. And that's it, my friend, my real life 15-minute face from start to finish. If you wanna check out any of the products that I used today, especially the brand new Jane Iredale Skin Tuition Foundation, I have linked everything down below in the description box for you, because this video's over.